Hold on, hey. Hey, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We got a little bit straightening going on.
You know, Quavo, Takeoff, they was down here with y'all. But they seen you walking by. He's laying on the ground. You got Mike bending down, and they seen you walking by. What took place there?
This the crazy thing about the video, right?
Something serious just went down, and the whole rap game is in shock. This ain't your regular internet beef. This feels like an all-out war that's been bubbling in the shadows for months until it finally exploded right in everyone's face. Mase just lit the fuse and dropped a straight-up bombshell. He exposed a private call between J. Prince and Takeoff, something nobody saw coming. And now J. Prince is spiraling, going off online with threats, damage control, and panic flying everywhere. Hey man, yeah man, we got a little bit straightening going on, you feel me? He said, trying to keep his cool, but the damage was already done. Mase didn't back down, not even an inch. He came swinging with receipts and words that people have been too scared to say for years. The stuff he's saying about J. Prince is wild. He's basically calling out the man that many in hip-hop treat like a boss. For the first time, someone with real credibility is saying, enough is enough, and the streets are losing it. With Takeoff's death still haunting fans, this hit hard. There's missing footage, silent witnesses, and those same two names, J. Prince Jr. and DJ Pat, keep circling back. It's like the puzzle pieces are finally being forced together, and it's not looking good for Houston's so-called OG. If what Mase says about that private call is true, this ain't just about bad PR, it's about something darker. The internet's going wild calling J. Prince a fake community leader and a cartel-style fixer with too much power and too many secrets. People are demanding answers, demanding justice, demanding truth. For a while, Mase was staying low-key, minding his own lane. But when J. Prince started throwing slick shots on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, that was the last straw. The gloves came off, and Mase and Cameron finally decided to speak. According to Mase, he heard a phone call where J. Prince was allegedly pressing Takeoff about loyalty issues just hours before that tragic night. And it didn't sound like no friendly big bro talk at all. The kind of pressure talk Mase described never ends well. And this one sounded bad from the start. It wasn't no friendly back and forth. It was tense, cold, and full of control vibes. You could feel the bad energy through every word, but the real shocker, that alleged call supposedly went down the same night Takeoff was killed outside that Houston bowling alley. Everybody remembers that night. The dice game, the heated argument, the gunfire, and then silence. Takeoff, just 28 years old, gone in seconds. One of the most chill, respected rappers in the game, taken too soon. And right after Mase broke his silence, J. Prince completely lost it. He jumped online, dropping slick threats and doubling down, still shading Offset for not being there for Takeoff. Then came that one cold line that changed everything. You wasn't really there with Takeoff when he was alive. Oh man, that hit deep and the internet erupted. Offset clapped back instantly and Cardi B stepped right beside him, fearless, loud, and ready for war. She made it clear she wasn't scared of no mob ties, not even a little. But by then, the damage was done, the streets had already chosen sides. One fan's post on X summed up the vibe perfectly. Nobody respects J. Prince after Takeoff died on his watch. That line alone went viral, echoing what so many people were thinking but hadn't said out loud. From there, things got even darker. Fans started connecting dots that didn't make sense, and the deeper they looked, the more suspicious it all seemed. DJ Pat, the guy arrested for Takeoff's shooting, somehow made a $1 million bond and walked out like it was nothing. People started asking, who posts a $1 million bond that fast and walks away clean? Eyes locked right back on J. Prince and his crew. Then reports dropped saying J. Prince Jr. allegedly asked to have his name removed from DJ Pat's bond paperwork. Like, why erase your name if everything's legit? Why separate yourself from someone you were supposedly with that night unless you're trying to protect something or someone? And it didn't stop there. Cameron Joshua, aka Lil Cam Fifth, got arrested right after Takeoff's death on illegal weapon charges. Guess what? Another Mob Ties affiliate. Every single time somebody gets hurt, it's the same names, the same faces, the same excuses. The public's not buying the Victim Act anymore, not after this many coincidences. And let's not forget, There was already a warning sign before Takeoff. Duke the jeweler. Remember him? He flew into Houston, checked in with mob ties, played a dice game, and never made it home. Same setup, same silence. And once again, Jay Prince's name hovering in the background. That one clip where he told his security to fall back. Yeah, that still got folks thinking something way bigger was going on behind the scenes. People started calling it what it really looked like, a pattern. Rich artists fly into Houston, they check in with mob ties, play a little dice, an argument breaks out, and somebody doesn't make it home. Then the same sad speech goes online about black-on-black violence and grief being the price of love. Man, folks are tired of hearing that line. They're asking straight up, where were you when the blood hit the pavement? And here's what made it worse. None of the princes showed up to Takeoff's funeral. Not one. Fans were quick to notice and said maybe they stayed away because they already knew too much. Then Jay Prince Jr. had the nerve to post, "Don't wear jewelry around vultures." And people clapped back like, if you knew the energy was bad, why bring them there in the first place? At this point, everyone was side-eyeing the whole check-in system. If mob ties can't even keep people safe, what's the point? Reports said Quavo was arguing with Jay Prince Jr. right before the shots went off.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing. When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little, like the way you talking. I don't get what you mean. We're not your little, like for real.
And new footage showed Prince acting like it was no big deal, brushing it off like nothing even happened. That cold reaction hit fans hard. It made him look real guilty in the court of public opinion. That's when Mase completely lost his cool. After hearing Jay Prince talk slick on that podcast, Mase fired back live saying, "We are not your little," and stopped himself mid-sentence. That line hit like a bomb. It was raw, real, and straight from the soul. Mase wasn't just speaking for himself, he was speaking for everyone who's ever felt bullied or controlled by that whole check-in culture that's been running the streets for years. And when Cameron sat next to him, silent but solid, not interrupting or denying a single word, that silence said everything. It was like he was saying, "I got your back," without even opening his mouth. Fans think Mase had been holding that leaked call in the vault for a while, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when he finally did, the internet exploded. The energy online shifted instantly. You could feel it. Offset had been staying quiet, trying to avoid the mess, but the second Jay Prince dragged his name into it and tried to act like he was never there for Takeoff, that was it. Offset snapped back, and it came straight from the heart. He called out the disrespect loud and clear, and of course, Cardi B was right there beside him. And when she steps in, you know it's serious. She don't do it for clout, she does it for real. She jumped on social media and went straight at mob ties, making it known that she and her man weren't scared of any so-called street empire pretending to run things. That's when people realized, this ain't rap politics anymore, this is personal. Jay Prince's image started cracking fast. For years, he built himself up as the OG of Houston, the man who kept peace in the city, the one everybody respected. But now, folks were seeing through it. The same man claiming to bring order was standing right in the middle of chaos. And the craziest part, the very people Jay Prince was supposed to protect kept ending up dead under his watch. That's what really made folks turn on him. Then it got even worse. Big names started quietly cutting him off. Drake, the man who literally came up under Prince's son, stopped posting anything tied to mob ties. No shoutouts, no mentions, not even a big bro tag, just complete silence. And if you know Drake, then you know silence means everything. That was a huge red flag, because let's not forget Jazz Prince was the one who first introduced Drake to Lil Wayne and Young Money. That's family ties, deep history, but now, not a single nod, not a single acknowledgement. Nothing. And Jay-Z. Word on the street says he's been dodging every call, every peace message from the Princes since early 2023. And you know Jay. He don't do messy online drama. He just quietly erases you from his circle. Why? Because billion-dollar moves don't mix with street beefs or federal attention. These high-level execs are watching the chaos unfold. The rumors, the missing footage, the silent witnesses, and they're not trying to get that stain on their legacy. Nobody in that corporate world wants to be linked to anything shady, especially with the kind of talk circling around Takeoff's death. That's when the whole check-in culture started to crumble right before everyone's eyes. For years, J. Prince Jr. made it sound like checking in was about safety, unity, and respect. But people started asking, what kind of protection is that? Duke the Jeweler checked in, Takeoff checked in, and both of them ended up gone. Fans started tweeting things like, "This is why nobody checks in anymore," and that one tweet became a movement. People began waking up, realizing that the check-in system wasn't about keeping anyone safe, it was about control. A way to flex power, to make artists bow down when they came to town. Even rappers from Cali started speaking out, saying the truth loud and clear. Checking in don't protect you, it just makes you a target. That broke the street code wide open. What used to be a sign of respect turned into an ego trip for people desperate to hold on to their status. So when Mase called J. Prince a failed street boss trying to play mobster, the internet went crazy. That line hit so hard it stuck, and suddenly people stopped seeing J. Prince as a legend. Instead, they saw a man who'd lost his grip, his influence, and maybe even his respect. But here's where it gets real dark. What happened to the witnesses that night outside 810 Billiards and Bowling? There were over 40 people standing around when those shots went off. You can hear the voices in the background of the videos online, yet barely anyone came forward. Word in the streets is those witnesses got either threatened or paid to keep quiet. Fans are convinced someone behind the scenes made sure DJ Pat took the entire fall by himself. Some even claim that parts of the security footage mysteriously vanished right after the shooting. And the wildest theory of all, people are saying Takeoff might not have even been the real target that night. Sources are hinting there's a whole different story buried under that silence. Word on the block is J. Prince Jr. was the one arguing with Quavo that night. And Takeoff wasn't even involved. He was just standing nearby, quiet, innocent, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why people are now saying this could have been an accident, or worse, a warning gone bad. Either way, everyone connected to that night got real quiet, real fast. Nobody's talking, no one's stepping up, and that silence speaks louder than anything. But every time the story starts to fade, something new leaks that drags it right back into the spotlight. And now, all eyes are on Mase and Cameron, and because word is they might be holding something major. That alleged phone call between J. Prince and Takeoff, the one Mase exposed, might have been recorded. Maybe it happened by accident, maybe on purpose, but if that audio exists, it could flip the whole game upside down. Sources close to their circle say Mase and Cam have been keeping that recording tucked away like insurance, just in case J. Prince tries to pull any slick moves. Because if that audio ever leaks and proves J. Prince was threatening or trying to pressure Takeoff into something he didn't want to do, it's game over. His entire empire, his reputation, his influence, all gone overnight. And this ain't no conspiracy theory either. Let's not forget who we're talking about. This is Mase, the man who walked away from Diddy at the height of his career, fought back against the whole industry, and came back on his own terms. You can't buy Mase, and you definitely can't scare him. That's exactly why this situation is so dangerous for J. Prince, because Mase is the type to stand 10 toes down when the truth needs to be told. People online are saying Mase might have finally exposed what many in the streets have whispered for years. That Mob Ties isn't just a label name, it's a whole operation with roots that go way deeper than rap. And if the feds ever start digging into that network, you already know what comes next. It's over. Federal investigators don't care about industry politics. They follow patterns, track money, and look for organized setups. And the more you look, the more those patterns start to line up. From DJ Pat's suspiciously fast $1 million bond, to the missing camera footage, to the witnesses who vanished like ghosts, it's all too messy to ignore. And now, with Mase speaking out, that spotlight is burning hotter than ever on J. Prince and his entire camp. What's wild is how all of this chaos traces back to one single phone call. Just one conversation that allegedly happened hours before Takeoff lost his life. That one moment flipped the image of one of hip-hop's most respected figures upside down. It's a domino effect. One brave voice speaks up, and suddenly everyone who was too scared to talk before is realizing maybe the so-called power structure isn't as strong as it looks. Even diehard fans who once treated J. Prince like an untouchable OG are starting to ask the hard questions. And now, those questions can't be ignored anymore. J. Prince might still look calm and collected on the surface, but behind that calm, you can feel the tension building. And this story's far from over. J. Prince's public image completely shattered. The once untouchable legend is now looking like a liability. His family's been keeping their distance, big names are walking away, and the internet's piecing everything together like detectives. What used to be power now looks like panic, and the cracks are showing everywhere. This isn't just about Takeoff's tragic death anymore. This is about a power shift happening in real time. For years, J. Prince's name carried heavy weight in every corner of the rap world, from Houston to Hollywood. But now, instead of being spoken with respect, his name's being whispered with suspicion. And the one man who had the guts to say it out loud, Mase, might have just lit the match that burns the whole empire down. Through all this chaos, everyone keeps circling back to one name, Takeoff, the quiet one, the genius of Migos, the man who never needed to chase clout, never started beefs, and never moved with hate in his heart. He was about music, peace, and family. That's what makes this story so painful. Takeoff wasn't built for that street energy. He was built for greatness. To see his life end at a dice game, surrounded by people who claim to be his protectors, that's what's breaking hearts across the culture. Fans can't stop thinking about how someone so peaceful ended up gone in the middle of chaos that never should have happened. And now, instead of honoring his memory, people feel like his name's being dragged through conspiracies and PR spins. The ones who should have protected him seem more focused on saving their brands than standing on truth. J. Prince posted a poetic message on Instagram after the tragedy, saying, "Grief is the price of love." But fans didn't want poetry. They wanted accountability. The same people who were there that night are asking the real questions. Why didn't anyone from mob ties step up and tell the truth? Why no real answers, just cryptic posts, podcast rants, and carefully worded statements? And now that Mase broke that silence, everything's unraveling fast. Because once that wall of fear cracks, the truth always slips through. For years, people treated J. Prince like a godfather, the man who could fix anything, make the right calls, and keep peace in the industry. But this Takeoff case flipped that image upside down. Suddenly, people are saying the quiet part out loud, that maybe the respect he commanded all these years wasn't about admiration, it was about fear. The calm, composed businessman image is fading fast, replaced by something darker, a man obsessed with power, control, and reputation. And when Offset and Cardi B stood up publicly and said, "We're not scared," the whole spell broke. The illusion of untouchable power started to crumble right in front of everyone. Now the vibe's getting dangerous. When powerful people start losing control, they panic. And that's exactly what the world's seeing right now. J. Prince's interviews started changing too. No more cool confidence, just defense and emotion. You can see it in his eyes, hear it in his tone, like he knows the walls are closing in and every word he says is being analyzed. And here's the wild part. Federal investigators are already sniffing around Houston. Ever since the Takeoff case blew open, word is that the feds have been quietly watching, connecting dots, and building their own timeline. The streets can feel it. This isn't just internet talk anymore. This might be the beginning of something way bigger. With Mase putting out that private call info, it feels like only a matter of time before somebody in law enforcement decides to dig deep. And when that happens, when the feds start connecting all those dots between the threats, the missing footage, and those suspicious bail deals, everything J. Prince built could collapse overnight. Even folks inside the industry are whispering that mob ties might already be under watch. Every time J. Prince or one of his sons goes live, people screen record it, clip it, and repost it for analysis. Every sentence, every gesture, it's all evidence now. The internet has turned into the new courtroom and the public. They're the jury, and once the streets decide you're guilty, it's over. In hip-hop, respect means everything. It's worth more than money. And once your name loses that weight, no lawyer in the world can fix it. And here's the quiet part people don't want to say out loud. A lot of artists who used to ride with mob ties now want out. The same ones who used to post selfies with J Prince are deleting every trace. Labels stopped name-dropping him, and podcasts that once hyped him up now pretend they never even mentioned his name. That silence, it's louder than any diss track. It's like the entire industry finally realized that the Mob Ties power structure wasn't about respect. It was about intimidation. And when the fear fades, the control fades with it. The empire loses value the second people stop being scared. But truth be told, it should have never come to this. Takeoff didn't deserve to be caught up in any of this mess. The man was peaceful, humble, loyal. All he cared about was music, his brothers, and staying out the way. Every time fans see old clips of him smiling, laughing, vibing in the studio, it hurts because they know how much potential was lost that night. That dice game, that argument, that chaos. It's a painful reminder of how often the good ones get taken too soon in senseless situations. And what makes it sting even more? People still don't have the full truth. Too many powerful names keep dancing around it, avoiding real answers, while fans are left putting together the puzzle on their own. That's why Mase stepping up hit so hard, because he finally said what everyone else was too scared to admit. Love him or hate him, you gotta give Mase credit. He spoke up when no one else would. He ripped open that wall of silence and said the words the industry kept dodging. Maybe the mob image J Prince built all these years ain't what it looks like. He didn't just talk, he exposed. He laid out everything. The shady bail, the phone call, the vanishing witnesses, the erased footage, and the fear that's been gripping Houston for way too long. And now, that fear is cracking. You can feel it in the air. People are finally starting to talk. Quietly, carefully, but they're talking. Because this isn't just another rapper feud anymore. This is bigger. This is about power, control, and what happens when people who thought they were untouchable start losing their grip on the throne. The entire hip-hop world is watching, and the craziest part? It all started with one leaked phone call. One piece of truth, just one, that exposed an empire built on silence. Now, every single move J Prince makes is under a microscope. Every post gets screenshot, every word gets dissected, and every rumor suddenly sounds a little too believable. If that recording ever drops, if that audio really exists, it won't just be another headline. It'll be a legacy destroyer. And through all this noise, one phrase keeps echoing from fans, from artists, from everyone who loved Takeoff. Justice for Takeoff, not revenge, not gossip, just justice. Justice. That's what fans keep demanding. Closure for the people, answers for Takeoff's family, and accountability from the industry that watched it all unfold. The fact that this whole situation is still foggy after all this time just proves how deep it runs. But one thing's for sure, no matter how hard people try to bury it, the truth always comes out. At this point, J Prince can't PR his way out of this storm, and he can't scare people into silence forever. Too many eyes are watching, too many voices are speaking up, and way too many people are ready to see real change. What Mase did wasn't just a diss, it was a warning shot. He made it clear that the old street rules don't run the game anymore. Nobody's untouchable when the truth's on the line. Now the world's tuned in, waiting to see what happens next. Because when power shifts in hip-hop, it never happens quietly. It comes with noise, chaos, and collapse. One leak, one clip, one piece of evidence can destroy an empire overnight, and right now, J Prince's kingdom is shaking. The fear is fading, the silence is cracking, and the streets are finally speaking up for Takeoff. Loud, proud, and unfiltered. If you've been following this story, stay locked in, because it's not over. More's coming, and every single day, the walls around Mob Ties are getting thinner and weaker. This is history playing out in real time. Don't blink, because the next headline might be the one that changes everything for good. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update, because trust me, what's coming next is about to shake the entire game. See you in the next one.